Hi, everyone. How are you? So I'm taping another video um, to get this out because I want to be on record before the end of the year. If things are still pending, if there are ones that I just got completely wrong, which in this one I did, and the ones that I got right in a really roundabout way. And that really leads me to the next thing about predictions. Um, Having made some bold ones in 2023 where I saw Israel being attacked, um, and then up to now with the discord between Biden and Harris that may have been caused by the inner circle, but the inner circle to Biden. But the point is, there was some there, um, and I predicted during the election, and I think maybe before it or within the term, of course, when it became an obvious issue that she would supersede, um, or well, he was supposedly anointing her, but then there was stuff before that where there were people around him that didn't approve when they thought that Buttigieg would have been better. She wasn't up for it. There are things that the other side indicate that for entertainment purposes only. And I don't mean the Republicans. I mean people that are Biden fans discuss um, that she wasn't up for it, and that's why he stayed in, and all the other garbage about Jill. And I told you Jill had quite a hold on him, which she did. But anyway, what I was going to say is sometimes when we make predictions through our language, we come out with things in a very roundabout, generic way, which in a sense are not specific predictions. And there are a lot of these in here that occur that way, but they're nonetheless relevant when I go back and read how I wrote them. So this first, and it kind of reminds me too, just to roll it back a little bit. When we do Lenormand readings, for instance, and it's situational, it doesn't exactly follow the script of probably what occurs, but sometimes we hit on it, as we did with Israel. So I'm going into the portal of Christmouth reading, which I think might have been Christmas Day. 109, 1 minute, or was this an hour or 9 minutes? I think it was a minute 9. I don't remember now, you guys. Actually, I think it was an hour 9. The Portal of Christmouth video, the drones from another country as a prelude to war. Well, today and last week, drones being dropped in Poland. Also, when the drones from the other country were here, a lot of people think they were just looking for radioactive material, right, Trooper? That another country might have dropped, like a China. So at the time, I said, and I don't know if it was concurrent with, it may have been, to China sniffing out or trying to look for stuff that they had done to us, or trying to see about the trace radioactive material that were in the air that maybe they dropped, or because I don't remember how these drones worked. And then the other part of it is trying to get us ahead of something China and Russia were doing. So our own intelligence maybe not telling us. And I don't remember the exact date that those drones dropped. If someone wants to check that, when we started seeing them en masse. And then in an hour 14, the final countdown to war to get ahead. So that seemed to me symbolically, in light of what the drones are doing now, is sort of the bellwether, or the death knell, or the presage to a World War III potential could be there. Different from the would-be civil war that could happen here. 1 hour and 16 minutes, Putin's death. No, did not get that right. Although lots of Mother Russia was coming in, making us do things out of fear. Well, in the sun reversed. Well, Trump is a Leo. I think the sun is ruled by Leo. Or Leo rules the sun, right, Troop? 1 hour and 18 in. So the reason he's very careful about what he says and what he does, and every 2 weeks and that sort of stuff about reassessing stuff, and there's never sanctions, never a shoe to drop, is the fear. And the sun reverse came in, and that was probably the truth that would come out if he didn't cooperate with Putin. 1 hour and 21 minutes, homelessness gets worse. There's a report today as an extension of that. I forget who asked the question. I think it might have been Janet. The homelessness, an hour and 21 minutes gets worse. Why or how bad? And then I said, well, we got it. It gets worse, and it kind of does, because we don't know where these people have been taken now. Talk about homelessness. At least we knew where they were, who they were before. Now we don't even know where they are, if they're alive. And then, of course, you consider what was said on Fox News yesterday, which is on my page. An hour and 24 minutes in, judgment reversed for the homeless. So in other words, when you have people like Brian Kilmeade, who issued an apology today for what he said yesterday, there's quite a judgment there, an apocalyptic judgment. And then the idea that the drug-addled ones would be taken off the street by Trump, we were hinting at that too, with that judgment card. Okay, but that's a case in point right there of just luck of the draw, literally, where, we pulled the right cards, and it referenced exactly kind of what was going on. 1 hour and 27 minutes, the bum rush and the greater demoralizing of the homeless. I had said something either through disenfranchisement on the last point about the drugs, or I said something to the effect of, because I don't write all the notes down for each of these, but I expect you guys to watch diligently all my old videos. The demoralizing of the homeless Trump, throwing them wherever. So I wrote something here that I had taken in notes on: the greater demoralizing in the bum's rush. That's kind of what happened to them. I mean, wouldn't you think if they had extended family or whatever, they might know where they were, or we would hear about, something positive that he were doing to try to amend that. But probably another human rights violation for entertainment purposes only. An hour and 28 minutes. Maybe this year is really gonna suck. This was toward the end when I think the reads were becoming more general on Christmas Day, and I couldn't stop laughing. That was the understatement of the year, right? Then I went on to The Stab in the Dark, Volume 3, The Deck of Character, which is a different video from the one I'm referencing now. There was a general and a collective political read done. Find your freedom from a government or situation bulldozing you. I said it 12 minutes and 52 seconds. I said something to the effect, too, in a very obscure, oblique manner about 2 shows coming. Be careful which one you're watching. So in other words, this could be hinting at the distractions on a daily basis and the atrocities that Trump is seemingly perpetuating. However, I think now, and it just dawned on me, the real show is the one Stephen Miller might be running. 14 minutes really needing to get someone out of your life, or for entertainment purposes, 45. Nothing really predictive there. 14 minutes and 40 seconds. Miscalculation on my part. There's no pandemic yet to put people into lockdown, although we are seeing little seeds of things that might be planted to bring about or affect the result to do that. And this is an interesting one because this is about figurative and literal. Okay. Taking stock of things a bit more judiciously, or taking stock of things more judiciously. The stocks that went up and down. I have that at minute 15. Minute 16, and again, sometimes we say things that have multi-dimensional meanings. Sometimes timelines overlap. Why can't the same happen with language? I guess in a predictive arena, though, maybe the timelines are more important than the language, but there is something there. Whistleblower work is key in this year. For some reason, the thing that I connected this to at minute 16 when it came out was the taping of ice. At minute 17, I saw a flood, but I saw Greg Abbott's house flooding. 17 minutes. I don't know if he has a house near or around what flooded in Texas, but I doubt it because I didn't hear anything about it, so I'm counting that as a miss. Looting every day. Haven't seen that yet, so no. Minute 18:50, a definite yes. Hearing a lot about Elon Musk as much as Trump. Remember, and I did want to point this out with an whatever. Remember that this was done right after the election, before he got in on January 20th. So, at that point, for all intents and purposes, we knew about Doge, but we didn't know he'd be such a shithead and have such a presence on so many different levels, and take Stephen Miller's wife, rumoredly, and then start his own party, rumoredly, and then whatever. 19 minutes, I said you won't be able to get rid of him. The next thing I got wrong, Elon done, and he's done this before, so I'm not counting it as a yes, even if it's still going on. Elon's still doing transcontinental elections, and we saw him yesterday. Actually, we're starting to see it again. He was in England. They had a big yesterday or today anti-immigration rally in England. He was on the big screen there. Somewhere that was relevant to some event yesterday. Also, I got the House of Representatives, or I think the government. I don't know if I put government house, meaning I think I meant the House of Representatives, but there are two places in two videos, I have not found them yet, where I said that everyone, or most people, or you know who would be drugged out of his mind. I'm not counting that in this instance as a yes, because I don't know in the House of Representatives if anyone. Oh, by the way, Madison Cawthorn was even though he's out of the House. I want to call him Caulfield, like Holden Caulfield from was it Catcher in the Rye? Minute 22. I don't know why I wrote this. Can't get rid of the conventions like religion. So I'm counting that as a no. Minute 22:40, I am counting as a yes, unlike the Greg Abbott thing. I said swept out to sea, and I see dying. And I think the sea was supposed to be the Texas floods. I give myself half credit on that. 2343, more crazy phenomenon that's unexplained. 3-eye atlas or 3L atlas. Then this other thing about the orbs that people are seeing now more recently. And then in 27, well, whatever. I'm going to give myself a 75 on that one because that one, whatever. 24, all politics is local. And I wrote something here. Let me just try to recap what I said. All politics is local, needing people needing with splits between the federal and national and local. But this could also be a reference, you guys, to the town halls where people in those local town halls meet those district representatives from Congress, to where the federal and the local are meeting. Or local things like what happened in Texas, where James Tallarico is starting to emerge as a figure of prominence. What was it? Oh, the stuff about the 10 Commandments. Minute 26, saw nothing about surveillance, but still feeling it. When I told you that I saw a camera in everybody's inside, instead of there being outside with ring, there's going to be a ring in, and they're going to somehow integrate that or make you think you need it. And then this is minute 206, kind of bringing it home, and then I'll stop. Different ways Elon had a ripple effect in what he did this year. I must have said it that way, or else I wouldn't have written it. The one thing I did recall was on the day that he said on X that Trump was in the Epstein files, even though that may have been behind the scenes in motion, it felt to me as if his saying it, everything that fell thereafter, he got the ball rolling. So check out those two. I'll post the links to them. Yeah. Bye.